Oh, he believes a lot of wild things. One of them is transgender surgery for people who are under 13.
So for those out there who are wondering, aren't there something else you could be doing or doesn't seem to impact you in your life? This is what it means to show empathy. This is what it means to be welcoming.
He changed the Minnesota state flag to make it look like a Somali flag. You ever seen that?
But our current flag is problematic. I think we all know that. We've evolved into a more diverse state, and I think it's more reflective.
Joe Rogan recently discovered information about Tim Walz that is so absurd that it lends credence to UFO theories. Wall quickly changes from a normal politician to a live story twist who gains prominence. Suddenly, Rogan has more ammunition than he needs to roast him hotter than Texas barbecued elk. This is no longer a political debate. In some way, the reality TV was shot in Minnesota. What Joe discovers is an ongoing spectacle that blends chaos, hilarity, and conspiracy-style fervor. This full-scale unraveling will make you crave popcorn, so be prepared.
Think about Walz's descriptions of his military career, because there's some issues there that people have. I don't know if he flat out ever said that he served in Afghanistan, but he certainly didn't dissuade people from saying that he was, when they were saying he didn't correct them.
Right.
There was things he didn't.
Remember to hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying what you're reading so far. You'll be amazed at how beneficial it is. Joe Rogan has seen a few strange things happen, UFOs, politicians claiming to know what elk meat tastes like, and medical professionals claiming kale smoothies can cure anything from disease to marital issues. But even Joe was caught off guard by Tim Walz, a politician who turns Minnesota into the setting for a low-budget sitcom that has gone completely insane.
That Tim Walz cocksucker, if that guy got into power, like if Kamala died and Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, was our president, you know how crazy this country would be? That weirdo puts tampons in the boys' room, and what about our joy? Like he's a complete pathological liar. Like a complete liar. Lied about being in Tiananmen Square. Lied about being a fucking head coach.
When Rogan drew back the veil, there was no mastermind at work. The man was juggling total chaos like a clown at a state fair. Tim Walz somehow figured out how to look busy while actually accomplishing very little. In terms of politics, it's like running on a treadmill. No progress, constant work. The impression of movement without actually moving is almost breathtaking in its own ridiculous way.
I don't know. Tim Walz is out there talking again.
Did you say he could fight any Trump supporter?
Yeah, he says he kicked their ass, and they're scared of him because he could fix a truck. Because they were threatened by his masculinity. I know how to fix a truck. So he said, like, do you? I bet you don't.
The lady doth protest too much.
I bet you don't.
I fear.
I bet if I bring a broken truck to you and a bag of tools.
That was kind of the redress, right? That was the attempt. It was like we're gonna the symbol of masculinity on the left.
Joe Rogan can't help but notice that whenever Tim Walz tries to show his leadership, after 5 minutes, it feels less like authority and more like a substitute teacher losing control of the class. Minnesota needed a competent leader. Instead, their father was confused and struggling to operate the TV remote. Its leadership developed into a family sitcom, and the laugh track practically writes itself.
The exact same thing. Doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Exact same thing. And he said, of course, it's a Nazi salute. He said that.
Right. We spent 3 days debating, having them trying to debate that President Musk gave a Nazi salute. Of course he did. But that is a distraction.
This is how crazy things have gotten. Like,
But Joe saw that his big ideas sounded like they were straight out of a 2003 motivational calendar. It's the kind of advice that only makes sense when you're in a dentist's office sleeping. Rather than being insulting, Rogan emphasized the ridiculousness of the scenario with his signature, "Are we really doing this?" tone.
Interviews and there's no pushback. There's no like, excuse me, I didn't go to Iraq, right?
Exactly.
And I retired, as my unit was deploying. And so
we were retired a couple months before.
A couple months before,
right?
Yes,
what is the whole story
those guys
behind
know.
it?
They know that they're going, right? It's not like they suddenly get a paper, on one day. There's a build up to that, and they're aware of it. And so, even his personnel were saying, look, we all knew we were going. He knew he was going.
Still, he comes off like someone auditioning for student council rather than leading anything serious, and Joe couldn't ignore the absurdity because There's no hidden genius beneath Walz's layers. Just a guy desperately trying to sound professional while working off a crayon-scribbled playbook. Rogan's whole approach is about peeling back the surface, and with Walz, the surface was the only thing holding the chaos together. What initially looked like a cheerful, polished politician quickly morphed into someone who absolutely shouldn't be trusted with real responsibility. Every anecdote took a more ridiculous turn, like peeling an onion only to realize it's a spray-painted cabbage. And one of Joe's sharpest observations was that Walz talks about leadership like he's delivering a TED Talk, even though the results look more like a kindergarten art project. Messy, vague, and confidently presented as if it's groundbreaking.
100% right with Tim Walz.
I know I'm doing something right when the Fox News crowd is all bitching at me like crazy. Like, I'm loving it.
That guy was almost the vice president of the United States.
Elon Musk was crying last week. Tim is being mean to me, basically. You know, like, yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that thing where it shows Obama saying, I need a vice president that's dumber than me.
He may or may not have cognitive decline problems at his age, but at her age, she's just dumb.
Yeah, I saying
I have to picture someone giving a long speech about innovation while using a flip phone. This is the exact level of irony. Walz likes to stand proudly as though he were altering the path of history, but according to Joe Rogan, the man is only switching up his grocery list half the time. What really made Joe laugh was the way Walz portrays Minnesota as the hub of a political revolution when, in fact, it's a testing ground for dad jokes and painfully awkward town halls. While Walz thinks he is in control of Rome, Joe spots a lemonade vendor with questionable math. People in his immediate surroundings either buy into the illusion or act as though they believe it. Who doesn't enjoy watching someone inadvertently gain power because it's a political twister? Rogan couldn't help but notice Walz's strange ability to turn every serious incident into a comedic joke. Giving him an opportunity to appear presidential makes it feel like a blooper reel. He returns national issues like a poorly wrapped gift. No instructions, no ripped paper, and no bow. According to Joe, politics in Minnesota is no longer even government. The first season of the reality show was its last.
This video?
I haven't seen. Please play it.
It's probably a real person. It might not be Tim Walz. Trump is AI generated.
No, he slaps his...
I mean, that is hilarious.
Oh, it's definitely... This is all 100% real, Jamie. You're a plant by the
Jamie's
government.
compromised.
On top of AI generated.
Riley Moore fell for an AI-generated video of Minnesota government. I fell for it, too. And do you know why I fell for it?
Yeah.
Because I believe that he's capable of...
It's hard to tell if it's sheer luck or skill. Like Neo in The Matrix, Walz avoids accountability, but bad decisions are hurtling themselves at him in place of bullets. By now, Rogan was genuinely enjoying analyzing the idea that Walz is a misinterpreted genius. No, not at all. He was compared by Joe like a haughty substitute fitness teacher. He can give a big motivational talk, but when it comes time to perform actual plays, you would be better off asking middle schoolers with a whiteboard. Walz keeps acting as though he is playing chess, but Joe disclosed that it's truly Candyland, and he keeps losing. It seems stranger the farther Rogan traveled. Walz has a propensity to over-explain things, as if speaking for an extended length of time somehow turns foolishness into knowledge. But Joe didn't think it was true. He was able to spot the lie.
I mean, they were talking about cracking down on hate speech online. Like, the free speech is not hate speech. That Tim Walz guy was actually saying that.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
Hate speech.
It feels like his whole I'm grounded image was written by an over-caffeinated marketing intern because none of it comes across as real. It plays more like improv comedy than leadership, with Walz trying to perform relatability while Joe immediately clocks him as an NPC-style politician, the kind who repeats buzzwords and hopes no one notices the gaps. And what makes it worse is that he doesn't just stumble through ideas, he stumbles enthusiastically, confidently rolling out big initiatives that collapse almost instantly and then treating those failures like trophies history will someday admire, which it won't. And Rogan's point isn't just about the man, but the atmosphere he creates where every room shifts into an awkward waiting game, not out of respect or inspiration, but because everyone senses the accidental comedy coming, like watching someone attempt karaoke for the first time, uncomfortable, strangely fascinating, and impossible to look away from even though you know it's going to end badly.
So the video of him taking down the Minnesota flag and he replaced it with the new flag that looks a lot like the Somali flag. Minnesota's a huge population of Somalis. All right, ready? Whoa, wait a minute. So he gets the flag, picks it up, and replaces it. There, that's better. Why is that better?
The real irony is that Walz genuinely believes he's doing an amazing job, and that's the trick. While everyone else is watching a blooper reel, he's convinced it's a highlight montage, existing in a parallel reality where every mistake somehow counts as a win, a kind of accidental superpower that lets him stay calm on camera while everything burns behind him. Rogan zeroes in on this disconnect, mocking how Walz chases political fads like a rookie surfer who thinks standing near the board counts as riding the wave, genuinely believing that saying the right phrase is the same as solving the problem. In Rogan's framing, if politics were karaoke, Walz would be the guy mumbling random lyrics and hoping confidence covers the mistakes. What really seals it, though, is how Walz reacts to criticism. Every negative headline becomes a personal cosmic injustice. And instead of learning or adjusting, he doubles down with the certainty of someone who's completely lost but insists the map is wrong. Not him, a perfect snapshot of misplaced confidence dressed up as leadership.
Kamala saying, I need a vice president over the meeting. It's Walz. Men have tampons.
We have a lot of accomplishments. We haven't taken adequate credit for it, frankly. We got to do a better job of getting the word out about what we have accomplished and who did it.
You got to lose because we got to break this cycle.
Constantly awkward and aggressively charming, Rogan's breakdown makes it clear that Tim Walz isn't just out of touch so much as operating in an entirely different reality. One that isn't sinister, just unintentionally hilarious. Walz seems to genuinely believe he's the lead character in a sweeping political drama, when in practice he's become the comic relief everyone keeps watching, a politician who stumbled into prominence, mistook it for destiny, and has been winging it ever since. Joe isn't merely mocking him, he's peeling back the curtain on an accidental comedy act that defines Walz's career, where grand speeches land with awful timing, dad joke policies are delivered with inflated confidence, and leadership feels more like a blooper reel than a plan. Minnesota wanted a governor, but somehow ended up with a sitcom character, and thanks to Rogan, the rest of the country finally got front row seats to the show.
Complete pathological liar.
Let's be honest. There are outsiders coming into communities, stealing and moving jobs away, and making life harder for people living there. And they have names: Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Complete liar. Lied about being in Tiananmen Square. Lied about being a head coach of a football team.
Because this started, and I love this story, as a young prosecutor. Kamala Harris talked about going in that courtroom for the first time.
Pathological liars. People that are habitual liars. They just lie all the time about everything. Yeah. Oh, you didn't deploy for war. You didn't. Why are you saying you deployed at war? The weapons you used in war? No. You were in war.
I plan on waking up on
Joe Rogan didn't need secret documents or scandal leaks. He just held up a mirror, and what appeared wasn't corruption or villainy, but something far funnier. Tim Walz, as the accidental star of a comedy no one asked for yet, can't stop watching. This wasn't a hit job or an expose, just Walz doing what he always does, speaking, moving, performing exactly as he normally would, while the humor revealed itself without exaggeration or edits. What starts as curiosity quickly turns into clarity. This isn't a bad moment or unlucky timing, but a repeating pattern that surfaces every time the spotlight hits. Walz moves through pressure, convinced he's thriving, while everyone else watches in stunned disbelief, the laugh track growing louder by the minute. He isn't a villain or a mastermind, just someone so committed to his own version of reality that he never notices the joke unfolding around him. And Rogan's real contribution was simply breaking that illusion, because once you see it, you can't unsee it.